we want to shift the public opinion about wellness. I come from idolatry background. We need to get it right. It's natural for us to fall. Why do we have so much in Africa and we suffer so much? Why do we go to church so much? Why do we engage in prayers? And it's as if God is very far from us.
Why do we keep doing the same thing and expecting different results?
Idolatry practices today has become the order of the day, where the young people, the youth, the adults go back to those things you have identified as idolatry practices.
Our names will have been written in the book of history. There are so many narratives to be shifted, so many wrongs that need to be rewritten. A father will not eat anything unless he puts some peace on the ground for his ancestors. He will summon the spirit of the son to guard his children. I don't like to mention the names of our fathers' idolatries because I don't want to be disrespectful to them. I just want Abrahamic practice was the original African tradition. Canaan, that the Bible mentioned, was the sub-Saharan African. All of these things have been pushed against us. They will continue to destroy us.
Land of milk and honey.
Until we wake up. It's not only Africans that worship the God of sun. The resources that we have in Africa, or maybe in Nigeria alone, can feed the whole world without sending Africa into hunger. What account do you have to say that Africa is poor when all of your military bases are there? We do not have no military bases anywhere in the world, in the civilized world. But most of the civilized world, the ones on top, have military bases in our continent and in our country. What is civilization about? You going to discover the moon when you have not discovered the earth. The resources we have in Africa alone can feed the whole world. Why is it that everywhere you have resources never have peace?
So welcome to Glasscast podcast, your podcast, my podcast, our podcast. First, I want to thank those that have been supporting what we do here. Especially, there is this company, if you've not heard of Rorem Solutions Limited. It's a UK company that partners with Airpeace for your e-booking, for training, for teaching your kids those skills, education skills and all that. They have been part of what we do here. They support us and we want to pass the goodwill message to you. Search for Rorem Solutions Limited and you would enjoy knowing them and they will serve you better. Also, Ambio Consulting Limited. These guys have been supportive of what we do and we want to use this opportunity to say, if you have anything that you want us to talk about, your business, your consulting firm, your services, we are here for you. We will do it better. And our followers and our audience will pay attention to what you do. So reach out to us and we are there for you. You have our email, all our contacts are on our pages. So do well to get connected to us. And based on popular demand, in the last 2 episodes, we had a very interesting conversation. And most of you said, oh, we want more of this story. We want to see the other part of this story. We want to engage with this story. Who is this person? What does this person stand for? And based on your demands and based on the things you are asking of, we have done the due diligence again. We have brought back that individual and we want you to sit right back and hear from the horse's mouth. But before we do the introduction, we want to say, sit right back, get your glass of water, get anything that gets you glued to the subject we discussed here. And I bet you would go out of this episode feeling blessed and feeling that you've learned enough. Without wasting much of our time, let's introduce Pastor Niaomi Niaomi Winters. Pastor, what do you want to tell our followers, our subscribers, our audience who have asked for you to come back to this studio to tell us more about those things? They believe that some of the things you were saying were not exhaustive enough. They want to learn more from your knowledge, from your experience, from your expertise. What do you have to say to them?
Thank you, Glasgow.
Glasscast podcast.
That's
fine.
Thank you, listeners. We appreciate your support. Niaomi Winters, that's my name, and it's a pleasure to be here again. We are shifting opinion. We have been long in this docile place. We want to shift the public opinion about wellness, about how things should be run properly around the world. That's what we really stand for. The last time I came, I was able to talk about my background.
You did, yeah.
And a lot of the experience that I had growing up as an adult, as a teenager, adult, and as a full-grown woman that I am today. We spoke about all of these things. I was able to introduce my background. I come from idolatry background. I don't mean any disrespect. I just want us to listen with an open mind. We need to get it right. We need to have a review. We need, as adults, to see where we have fallen from. Because it's natural for us to fall. But if we keep falling, we rise up, we run again, then we have a problem. But if we fall and we are able to take accountability to look at whatever has made us fall and to make the review and adjustment, I think having stand up now, we are expected to do better. Now, my question to all sundry is, why do we have so much in Africa and we suffer so much?
Wow.
Why do we go to church so much and it's as if God is very far from us? Why do we engage in prayers and 100 days fasting and it's as if God is not hearing? So those are particular concerns that I had as a child growing up. And I dare to push this new narrative, because I want my name on the history of things at the end of the day. We crave for a change. We must do things differently. So that will be the introduction.
Yeah, that's absolutely some very key words.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very key words.
Thank you.
Shifting the narrative.
Yeah.
Why do we keep doing the same thing and expecting different results? How can we change things in a way that would go away from the old ways and begin to get it better? Before he continues with his introduction, I'd just like to chip in a word. Even the Bible says somewhere that prayer without work is not going to cut it out for us. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing. So maybe our people are just doing the praying without putting in the work. So, I mean, we'll discuss that as we get into this. So please.
We'll discuss all that as we get into the discussion. And, for some of us who has followed our just concluded episode with Chris here. At some point, we are going to refer to him as Pastor Chris. But we'll get to see if that ordination and confirmation will be done even outside this place, so that we would address him as a fully ordained pastor. I don't know if Chris would be okay with that. Yeah. So, well, it's left for our viewers and our subscribers to decide also. Maybe we will conduct a poll to see how that goes. So, Pastor, you've created this narrative and you have buttressed it to the point that people have become so interested They want to know more. Especially in the era of, let's go back to our roots. Because the things you identified in certain ways as idolatry practices today has become the order of the day, where because the young people, the youth, the adults are asking questions. They are seeking answers to sustained societal problems. They are now beginning to go back to our roots, to go back to those things you have identified as idolatry practices.
Just to add to it, so that when you're answering, you take it all up. You would agree with me that this current generation is asking some questions that the millennials, the baby boomers, and all of those people never
All the
asked.
Gen Z.
Or even, I mean, the Gen
the Gen
Z
Zs are asking,
it's even worse with the Gen Alpha. They're asking questions. They're beginning to question even the Bible.
Yeah.
They're beginning to question those things that they say in the pulpit. I am of the Catholic background where the priest comes, says everything, and everybody just says amen, and everybody goes. Nobody questions anything. But unlike the Anglican faith, where people question everything, or even the current Pentecostal, where people ask, now it's getting worse with the younger ones. They want to know everything. Even if you say Jesus is who has seen Jesus, they are willing to go that far to ask all manner of questions. And just like Henry has said here, if we say, let's shift the narrative, let's go back to our roots, what exactly are we going to bring to these people that will make the difference? So that even when the question comes out, we will not be found in this same dilemma. Even though the Bible is like a one-stop shop. You understand, where almost every answer you can find. But again, there's still this belief that there is a narrative around it, that it's well arranged by the white man to, capture our mind, and all of those stories are available. I'll tell you what my position is, or what I usually ask as a question. If everything the Bible says is to do right by your neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself and all of that. And my question is, if we don't do that, won't there be anarchy, doom, and the society will not be nice? What do we lose if we follow what the word of God says? I mean, that's just in summary for me.
Like I said in the prologue, we are trying to shift public opinion. If we have the courage to go this route and we do it well, our names will have been written in the book of history. There are so many narratives to be shifted. There are so many wrongs that need to be rewritten or deleted, Now, talking about going back to our roots, interesting. If you have not been there, you don't know what you are talking about.
True.
I have been there. My family started from the root. My father will not eat anything unless he puts some piece on the ground for his ancestors.
Oh, man.
He will not drink nothing until he drops. He wakes up in the morning, he grinds a piece of chalk, because in my place, at the corner, the other village, you can dig up native chalk. From the ground. The one you call calcium carbonate. Is it calcium carbonate you call it? The one that people used to do powder.
Yeah, I know this, but I don't know the chemical.
What the components?
So, maybe, I think it's calcium carbonate or calcium oxide. So, and then they mold it. And then they sell it out. They dry it, they sell it. So, my father can grind that chalk in the morning and blow it in the eye of the moon. And say, moon, in the morning, the sun. He will summon the spirit of the sun to guard his children. I love my father. I have no disrespect for him. I don't like to mention the names of our fathers' idolatries because I don't want to be disrespectful to them. I just want things to be better for us. I want us to take a good look and take a deep look into where we have fallen. As for falling, we have fallen. If we have not fallen, we will not be gathered here. We should be doing great things in our places where we come from. But this is the result of the fall, And we must begin to shift this opinion that we already have. At night, in the evening, my father could grind the same native chalk or some other things that looks like sulfur, that looks like and then he could blow it also. I might not be able to have a good recap of all of these practices because I didn't stay so long with him before. By divine connection, I was transferred to another kind of lifestyle, which brought in Christianity, ushered me to Christianity.
Okay, sorry to cut in. Now that you've mentioned this connection between what we call idolatry. By the way, those words were also coined in English and were told to us. What our parents were doing that we call idolatry was also worshiping God in their own way that they knew. So bringing it now, what's your idea or what's your view around idolatry, or what we were told is idolatry with what we were also told to worship we don't even know?
If I shock you, I will say that the biblical Abrahamic practice was the original African tradition. Will it shock you? So if you say that certain people brought the I don't want to mention Bible now because it's what they printed out. They brought back this tradition to us.
Packaged it this time around.
Then you should know that it's falsehood. Now, let me take you to it that the distance between Egypt and Israel in the Bible, they could walk. Egypt, as you know, and Israel. So, the Canaan that the Bible mentioned was the sub-Saharan African. That was a land full of milk and honey.
This is interesting.
Tell me.
Never thought about it.
You see how all of these things have been pushed against us. Now, don't blame the pusher. Blame us. Because while we slept, the enemy came and stole from us, killed us, and destroyed.
And still destroying.
Up to tomorrow, they will continue to destroy us.
Land of milk and honey.
Until we wake up and have a review. So that's why I try to find channels that can give me voice to engage, to indulge my African people, to wake up to what I have experienced. At the age of 7 or thereabout, I left the village, left my father's land, and I went to live with my uncle, my mother's younger brother, who got married. He was a foreman with, I think, AT&P, later with Dumes, if you know these names of construction companies in Nigeria, and thereafter, Julius Berger, and all of that. He worked with them. He was a foreman.
The RCCs of this world.
Yeah, he was him in that engineering, in those engineering companies. He was well known. So I lived with him. He was an elder of a church. And then I began to learn new lifestyle. They didn't worship anything. In the village, I was so sicky. I had special food. They had special things to give to me. My father will worship the god of iron. I don't want to mention their native names so that people don't get... that
Nzu you made mention of is in some places it's called Calabash Chalk. Some places it's called Kaolin. And it says there is a powerful white clay, especially in the Igbo land.
For the chemical name.
I'll check.
Let me even be very honest with you guys. See, when you were saying it, I'm trying to connect all the dots. You mentioned the next village, which I'm also very sure that in your village, if we dig, there will also be something that will be found.
In my village, we have red sand.
Perfect.
So those things we were talking about over there.
Do you know that I saw a document in Nigeria? I was privileged at one point to work with the presidential committee on on technology transfer. And I saw a document that showed that every local government in Nigeria, the 772 local governments in Nigeria, or 74 local governments, have got minimum of 2 major mineral resources, the entire country. So connecting it to this biblical thing you talked about now about the land filled with milk and honey, I am also almost certain that every country in Africa has got something that the whole world needs to keep going. Just like when we talk about cobalt today, that is entirely running the world. The phones we carry, the electric cars, everything. So again, I'm just connecting it. Conspiracy theory. If the land of milk and honey is Africa, so who is destabilizing Africa to make sure that the milk and honey?
The Africans are destabilizing themselves.
Okay.
I don't want to play the pity party. I don't want to dance in pity. We've done
we've done enough of it.
To ourselves.
Fair to you. Yeah.
Now, if a man fails in his life, let him agree that he has failed. The West will not leave us alone. Not today, not tomorrow, until we have left our evil ways, our idols away. We let them be, and we take a reverse and go back to God, which is a drawing board. They will not leave us alone. No matter how much you pray, no matter how much you fast, the thing you need is to boycott your idols. Boycott. Boycott means repentance, turning around. And then you go back to your drawing board. That original Abrahamic African traditional practice, bring it back. Bring it back without the magic, without the deities, without the gods and goddesses. Now, let me give you the reality of how it happens. I was able to produce this microphone. At the time, it stopped working. And I figure out that, this microphone is made up of iron. And now as a blacksmith, I blended it back. I begin to pour substances on it and begin to use it as a medium to get to my own supernatural.
Perceived God, as it were. Yeah.
It's crazy. The river is there in some parts of Nigeria, because I'm going to use Nigeria as a case study, because I understand a little bit of Nigerian system. People gather on a yearly basis. They go to worship by the trees and the river in the western part of Nigeria. In the eastern part of Nigeria, southeast, south, good agriculturists, farmers. This is going to affect everybody.
No, that's fine. Fire down. That's the idea. We're not holding anybody back.
Yeah. We have the mental technology to fabricate the cutlasses, the implements to farm, to feed our family. Our fathers had several wives. Nobody was hungry. And then when we harvest yam, we leave them until August.
Put them in the barns.
We put them in the barn. And then we dig the ground. And we say we are giving back to the ground. We worship the ground. And then we begin to eat the yam.
Like this New Yam Festival?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where we are all guilty. You see, what that has brought to us, it has brought in Elon Musk. Is that his name? No. No, not Elon Musk. The other man that is trying to promote GMO.
Okay. Gates.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. That has ushered in Bill Gates. Since we have left the supernatural God alone, and we have decided to worship Ani, the God of agriculture. That is what we get. And so every system has turned against us. All of our system, our mineral resources, the crude that we dig is no longer refined in Nigeria. They had to take it across the sea for refine.
And it's not like we don't have the technical know-how. It's just either greed from our politicians, the powers that be, and all of that just to change the narrative for us.
So this is all encompassing, and then we have really failed ourselves. We need a review. We brought in the people that have no idea about God to teach us about God. We had...
Who are these people? Visit us.
We'll take it gradually.
All right.
We had the Abrahamic tradition. It taught us how to serve God, But we have now copied from the Assyrians, the Babylonians, everywhere they took us to for exile or slavery. We copied something and we bring it back. And we brought in their idolatry. We began to worship. Now, mind you, it's not only Africans that worship the god of sun. Not only Africans that worship the god of the stone or the god of iron. They were all worshipped all over the world. That's why today you have Sunday, the day of the worship of the sun god. Monday, the day that the whole world have declared that moon goddess is worshipped. Tuesday, Thursday was it, Wednesday. If you look at the days of the week in French, you will find a clearer.
Vendredi.
Lundi was the day of Luna. Mardi was the day they worship the Mars god. Mercredi was the day they worship Mercury.
Oh, okay.
Thursday, which was Jeudi, was the day of the Thors. Or the, what's the name of these people? I always forget their name, sorry. And then Friday was the day, Vendredi, the day they worship Venus. Saturday was the day they worship Saturn, which most people now call devil, Satan. And Sunday, they came back to worship. So,
the god of the sun. So,
sorry, let me just cap it up.
Okay.
Now, these people tend to have realized themselves earlier, and
they abandoned it.
But we are still stuck with this ideology.
Now that takes me to who are the people that are responsible for this thing, so that we'll know who our problems are.
Who are your slave masters? Who are your slave masters?
There, in my view, there are various levels of this. If we want to talk about the generic slave masters, we know who they are, but we're talking about several levels. For that man or woman who is somewhere in Africa or in Nigeria, who goes to church every Sunday. In fact, there are churches that have program from Sunday to Sunday. Like you are in church, they don't even care about what you eat, how you go to work and all of that. But you come for Monday prayer, Tuesday prayer, Wednesday Bible study, Thursday. I mean, they will ensure that they engage you. And you will still pay money. I mean, that's a different story entirely. And then when you do all of that, they keep working on your mind. You can't even argue.
Yeah, because the gospel have been taken out of context. The Bible already warned us about it. The gospel is being preached for several reasons. Whether they want to use it to make profit or they want to use it for colonization, or the bottom line is that they are preaching the gospel. So it is you that should use your common sense, because education is the thing that you teach yourself. Academic is the one you pick up in the school you are learned. Revelation is the one that God gives you wisdom. Now, this occult satanic people that we have in the church today, the grandmasters that see Nigeria going down the drain and they cannot speak, that gather the people just to, how can you have a belief system that promotes only you, gives only you rest? Your followers, they perish. They
are vulnerable, exposed.
They just exposed.
Anything can happen to them.
So
you just
the belief system protects only you. This is where I'm saying, let people will protect themselves.
Thank you very much.
Don't
See what you
be
said.
gullible forever. Because nobody is going to wake you up if you pretend that you are sleeping. If you pretend that you're sleepy, you will sleep forever. Because if they try to wake you up, you cannot wake up. In the first place, you are not sleeping.
Yeah, it was Good Luck Jonathan that said it. It's easier to wake somebody who is truly asleep than to wake somebody who is pretending to be sleeping. So I guess that's how it.
You see your spiritual Satan there in front of you, the man of God, the devilish so-called man of God. Because nobody has the heart of God, we allow you to continue in abject poverty while he rides over you. Nobody that is filled with the Holy Spirit want to rule the life of another man.
Okay, do we now blame the master? What's that word we used again?
Slave master?
I'm trying to be careful not to use that word. But do we now blame that slave master in quotes in this kind of direct?
How do you blame the slave master when you have the same proportionality of common sense like the slave master to boycott?
Now I'm talking about solution. Because you see,
I think before we go into the solution, there are some gray areas that I'm picking up as Pastor is speaking here. And before I go into those areas,
just say Niaomi Winters is speaking here. Remove the pastor thing first.
As Naomi is speaking here, there are some things I'm picking up, and it kind of ignites that quest to know more. Even though you said, we'll just leave it at Naomi, I wanted to ask, do you see yourself as a philosopher?
I am not a philosopher. I am a woman that has the Holy Spirit in me. And I have passion for my world, especially for my immediate African environment. People have suffered enough. I want to push this agenda to a point that where I will have awakened the minds of people. The pastor tells you not to pray by using salt, by herbs. They started the narrative of don't use even fencing when we were growing up in that particular church of my uncle. A lot of people were unalived because they were ill, and the pastor have put it in their brain that if they use paracetamol or Fensic, then Fensic was popular.
Those were the most common medications then. So they will actually don't want you to take medication. Could it be deeper life you are talking about? Because growing up, I don't intend to call any church out, but we were all in Africa.
Their followers will come for you.
I don't give, honestly, I don't give two hoots. You know why? These are some of our realities. Those are some of our realities. Growing up, I had friends. Sorry to cut you, but I'm being very honest. We had friends who did not agree to take medication. Mm-hmm. Are we talking about television? It's a popular story that people threw away their television. I know people who say they broke their television because somebody says television is evil box. That was what they were calling it then.
Ignorance. It's not. I don't think it's only pertaining to deeper life.
Well,
say because it depends on where you have your personal experience.
Yeah.
I have. It's not an experience I want to.
Honestly, I think this is the time to begin to call these people out.
I've had the experience of somebody from Jehovah's Witness.
That's another set of extreme people. Wonderful.
I couldn't believe that such a thing happens. But maybe with time we may touch on that area. Pastor is telling you not to do this, not to do that.
Give it to the Jehovah's Witness, because if they say don't take medication, they allow you to do herbs.
But the blood transfusion, uncle, that for several years people have died because
that.
Do you know that they just reviewed it this year?
Oh, they did?
Oh, they just reviewed it. They've reviewed it.
This is why I said I don't want to tell.
It.
Oh, beautiful.
Not entirely 100%.
Let's clap for you.
Now they say,
I will be. Because
while you people are clapping, I think there's a problem with that.
Well, if
somebody tells me not to do something for hundreds of years or 50 years all my life,
my brother,
and people have died because of it.
That was why I said boycott.
Yeah, because when you are saying this thing, I said I didn't want to say this thing on air, but what you are saying here,
they review it in the UK or Nigeria.
No, the entire world. The entire world. Because they have a control
system.
Yeah.
Something happened in 2011. There is this lady, I was, doing a program then, and she's a colleague doing a program. We used to, meet and all that. And she's a Jehovah's Witness, unfortunately. And they were newly married. She was pregnant. She had a baby. In the process of having a baby, she had complications. Mm-hmm. She was losing blood. Mm-hmm.
My wife lost a close friend because of this story of blood transfusion.
She was losing blood, and this lady and the husband said that nothing will ever make them take blood because it's against their religion. The doctors and the nurses were telling this woman,
not religion, it's actually doctrine.
Yeah, they were telling this woman, say, this, you have a baby, you need to leave to look after this baby.
Responsibility.
They don't care once they are drunken in their
no. You see this thing you're saying?
Do you know that they were doing, the way they do countdown? They will say, at this point,
you will use it.
Gone. At this point, and she said she's okay to go.
I just told you that if my wife...
eventually,
my wife...
She left. She left the baby. No. She left the husband. I became so upset with anything Jehovah's Witness.
It's enough to traumatize you. I don't blame you. It's enough to traumatize you. So, now, do you know even the review? Let me even bust your, but do you know that the review that they did? Yeah. Do you know the kind of review they did? You can, while you're alive, you take out your own blood and keep it in the blood bank. So any day you need your blood, you need blood, you take. So you are not even allowed to take another person's blood.
I hope the blood does not expire.
Do you understand? No, when I took it up,
we're smiling and laughing over it.
It's not funny.
I didn't find it funny.
So what becomes of that child? Please, what becomes of that child?
I don't know.
It's so not fair.
I look at the husband. I was like, so you could allow this happen, and not just the husband and the wife, the
family of them.
Almost married them.
Everybody's gone.
Goodness,
forget it. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it. In that case, you're the one that has problem.
I'm saying it this way.
I can tell you for free.
They saw us.
That you guys are the people that have problem.
We wanted to intervene. They were like, this is...
Now, it is only when I see things like this that I would say somebody like Naomi needs to really drum this thing into people's heads.
And that is why if you are a philosopher.
Good. Now, that will take me to the question I will ask you, please.
Yeah.
You've got a very unique idea, which is very explosive about information. If nothing today, even if I don't take anything today, I am almost certain that the land of milk and honey that the Bible referred to is Africa. But that's a story for another day. Because you were able to connect it, Egypt to Israel. How far is it? And how far was it in the Bible and how far it is today? Remember, they used 40 years and 40 nights to get to where the land of milk and honey, which everybody didn't get to anyway. But that's, like I said, a different story. Now, my question would be, have you got, apart from social media followers, have you got like a congregation? At least, even if it's 5, 10, 200 people that you're gradually disseminating this information to, that can take it to another level. I know that this is a platform already. There will be people who probably have heard this somewhere or who even believe in it, but are looking for somebody to spill. And you just did with your platform and with this our current, in this our Glasscast. My question is, do you have followers or do you intend to have followers in the future?
At the moment, I do not really have a follower congregation that congregates in a particular place. But I have followers that believe in, I've been able to sell this idea to them. I've been able to heal them in their low states when they were very ill. I've been able to shift their opinion from just praying and fasting alone, talking about soul, body, and spirit. and
That's the holistic.
and then you mirror it into holistic wellness. Now, the medical practice is designed, in my own opinion, to the best of my knowledge, I'm just speaking, to heal your flesh, your body, your suit, the clothes that you are wearing, your skin.
The inner and outer part of your body, basically.
Yeah. Now, your soul and your spirit can be healed or should be healed or aligned by your belief system.
That's where faith comes in.
That's where faith, intuition comes from. The intuition part of you is connected. That's where your spirit man is. Your mind, your intellect, your capacity, your ability to do work has to do with your soul. And so the body is the carrier of your soul and the bearer of your spirit. So the doctors study to take care of your body. If they say they take care of soul, I don't reckon with that. I don't
think the doctors claim that they take, they take care of the soul.
But what do we do today? We take every problem to the doctor because the pastors have failed. We as pastors has failed in our duty to balance the intuitive spiritual things. We have definitely become the teacher of Jesus Christ himself. Jesus is the master of the universe. He paid the ultimate sacrifice to put the soul in order, to redeem the soul. Now, I talk about disorderliness a lot of times. It's like when you make a bottle of water to stand on its neck. It's not going to be okay because people like my forefathers have blown chalk to the air. They have taken the authority of their life and they have ascribed it to the sun. Whatever negative energy or whatever fallen angel has associated itself to the sun is what they have relegated their authority to. Do you understand me?
Yeah. Making a whole lot of sense.
Now, if you go to my village, in those days, you will find a lot of wild chicken by the riverbank. Beautiful terrain. They're just so calm, playing about. They don't leave that place. They just play around there. They grow up there, That's the offer that people bring to the water spirit. Because there is a spirit in that water, the spirit takes that offering and possesses their soul realm. And it is this soul realm that Christ came to pay the price for the redemption, to be able to articulate the soul again and to put it back in order so that he can just have the authority that it was originally assigned to.
Okay, so if we're going to try to summarize or connect everything you have said.
Yeah.
Truth be told, the doctors take care of the body.
They do.
I'm talking about both in
they do
and outside.
Very well.
Brain, all of it, the physical part of it. And the job of maybe our religious leaders or our spiritual leaders, or even people we call motivational speakers, or people who have taken, a lot of them are going from being religious to being motivational speakers. I read a few things on 3 days and then even some of our writers. If they are supposed to, or if they do the right thing, they should be the one taking care of the spiritual side of human. And I can tell you as a person from my own even personal experience that there is a link, obvious link between the mind, that spiritual, the faith and all of that, to the body. There is a direct link.
Yes.
Meaning, to the extent for me that if you are ill and the ill health gets to a stage where it now requires you to give up yourself, if you have enough strong will to say, I am going nowhere, to a very large extent, you will stay here.
Yeah.
I have read somewhere in a book, I think by Rhonda Byrne, saying either The Secret or, there's a book by Rhonda Byrne, The Secret, where he says, if you want something so dearly, all the forces of the earth will come together and deliver it to you. And I also know that even in the Bible, there is that link that you have to have enough faith to be able, if your faith is as little as a mustard seed, you will tell a mountain to move and it will do what? It will move. It might not be literally going to a mountain and tell it to move, but what it's trying to tell you is that your faith, your mind,
we do wonders,
should control everything that happens to you. Which is why even the pastors will tell you, before you leave in the morning, speak into your day. Why? Because your mind actually controls everything around you. So I would take it to mean that where we are losing it is that those people that are scheduled or saddled with the responsibility of taking care of the mind are the ones that are losing it. Either for selfish interest, which is where the issue of people owning all manner of things, while their followers are languishing in poverty. And they keep giving. A lot of them these days will tell you that it's not the money you give in church that they are using to buy whatever it is.
Of course, yeah. But
my question would be,
they're right,
the money you used in setting up that business that is giving you that thing, where did it come from? We're talking about the first.
Yeah.
So you can't entirely separate.
Yeah.
Maybe what they are bringing today is no longer enough. Why? Because you have set up wonderful schools, you have set up businesses, you have set up all manner of things that brings in money.
And
some of them even invest.
They have sponsored politicians who are presidents.
I mean, I don't have proof for all of that, but I can tell you, I know that it's happening. There's, when money comes, if you're an investor, or if you're investment driven, like a few of us, there are truths about anything you can do with money. 1,000,001 opportunities. You put in here, by the time you invest in several places and money begins to come in millions, you can then look at your congregation and tell them that it is not their money. But where did you start from?
Incredible.
Let's go back to the 80s or 70s when you had nothing. Somewhere, somehow, people contributed to get there. No disrespect to any reverend, pastor, and all of that, but I think if I'm going to draw from what you're saying, it has come to a time where our people, the people of Africa, Nigeria as a case study, should begin to think on their own on how to liberate their mind while still worshiping God. Thank you.
So I thought you wanted to ask me a question.
Yeah, exactly.
You lost it in transit.
No. My question was going to the solution I talked about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that he said it's not time. Yeah, but if we know this much, at least a few people know, because there are still people who don't know. Fanatics, you can't tell them anything. We're talking about somebody that said rather than take care of a child that will die for something you have control over. And just because somebody pronounced somewhere, don't take blood transfusion, and that's it.
So while
solution.
Okay, so while we are saying this, right, whether we like it or not, every aspect of life is interconnected, both from the spiritual to the physical. And, you've said things here that kind of stunned my mind and my imagination. Before we came on set here, I never believed that the Nigeria of today, the Ghana of today, the Sierra Leone, the Sudan, the Mali, that they are actually the land
filled with milk and honey.
The land filled with milk and honey.
Honestly, if I don't take anything today, I've said it. I will go and study it properly around that Jerusalem.
I will bring a teacher here, my friend on TikTok. My own aspect is that I try to connect people to how they can break out of idolatry, break out from soul tie, But he is a teacher in these things about Israel, Africa. He will bring a map if he comes.
I look forward to that. Person.
I will try to engage him.
I'll ask you one question. Are you afraid of something, the powers that be coming after you someday? Because if I'm just playing the devil's advocate, if this happens to
thank you for the question.
And you're digging somebody's source of income or source of power, as the case may be.
You see, apart from, okay, let me do this analysis. When you have high rank in the military or in the police, you wear your rank on your shoulder. When you are just a little one, not Korofo, a little rank, you wear it around your arm.
What call the other ranks,
Yeah. Now, the Bible says, unto us a child is born. Unto us a child has been given, a gift. So much more that the government of your life and my life will flow from the shoulder of that Christ onto your own shoulder. So, me, I'm not afraid of anybody, because the rank I have on my shoulder in Christ, nobody. As long as I stand on the truth and I'm doing exactly what the Lord asked me to do, as in what I have been born to do, I'm not afraid, my brother.
Especially when you're standing on the truth.
On the truth. Very important.
I speak in Nigeria. I spoke so much because I had a church in the ghetto part of Lekki. I tried to indulge these pastors. I saw the vision of all of these problems that is happening right now in Nigeria. In 2018, 17, 19, before I left in 2020. And they just say, oh, go away, you that you do spiritual work. What do you know about God? So at a time, the Spirit of the Lord told me to leave the country, so I left. So I am not afraid. Fear is not in my eyes like this.
Okay.
Fear does not have a place. In fact, I am so, I dare people. I'm not afraid at all. I am very courageous in this battle that we are about to fight now.
That you are taking up.
I have been able to put it together, to weigh it here and there, and I know I'm equal to the task.
Okay, I think that now takes me to...
Yeah.
I know while saying...
But I don't want to disrespect people.
No, that's okay.
I don't like to disrespect, but I like to, if they want to worship, they can worship whatever they want to worship. That's why I don't call the names of those idols. We went too far. We go far where we say, if you go some places for our side, you go see, say, then they use people, escort other people, go enter grave,
Oh yeah, those traditional things where if person there, they go use 5 people or 7 people head.
Even for that Lagos be so.
Oh.
Some people go see the waka for night. They find strangers, Emmas.
Oh.
Where then go comot their things, go put them. Say the land is hot. They want to cool it down.
Okay. I have a little view around that. This thing they call human parts business. There's a name it's called.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do that. But this, that business is almost as old as the human existence.
Exactly.
There is this conspiracy again.
We are not saying it's not happening here. It's even happening more here. But the audacity that we have to do it openly.
Yeah, that's because we use religion and everything to cover it, and they do it.
And the audacity that we have to do it alongside the religion.
Church, as if,
That's audacity. Because if you visit those pastors, those big wicked fathers of faith, that's what I call them. If you visit their altar, my dear, what you will see there will alarm you. Most of them.
Please, what will you see? What will we see?
Alarm.
Oh, that's strange. Well, I know that the Nollywoods of this world did a lot of some of those revelations, and they've succeeded in pushing all of those things away. I've heard stories like, they are giving Africa a bad name. We shouldn't always talk about the spiritual part. Use people head. But I know that if we are going to be honest with ourselves, some of the things that we hide under religion to do in Nigeria or in Africa or under some level of spirituality is actually a business.
Yeah.
Organ harvesting. It is an expensive business. If not that very recently, countries like China, Japan have started creating. I heard recently that they created a heart that can beat forever. I mean, if there is something like that, would there be, imagine that it's all over the place, would there be need to harvest somebody's heart anymore?
Anyway,
and all
in
of
all of this, we are still victims. Because if they harvest that, they are going to use it for people across,
who are
across the ocean.
perceived, the superior or have got
And
superior,
without the involvement of such people, we will not be in the states, that particular state.
But we are also guilty because most of the time, just like you said in the beginning, we're also guilty. They don't come directly to do it. They still use our own people to do it amongst ourselves.
So, because we are looking at a solution.
Did you ask me a question? Did I answer?
Yeah. You answered the question.
You answered the question. Because we are looking at solution here, and because, if you are watching this from Nigeria, if you are watching this from Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, Namibia, Sudan, wherever you are watching
the
it from,
entire 54 countries in Africa,
it is
including our brothers in South Africa,
and even in the Middle East, it is known today that your land is that land of milk and honey. And it is important we know this because it looks like something that has been at our backyard.
And we never knew.
We've never seen it as such, but people from far distance
wrote it in form of Bible.
Yeah.
Caveat, please. That's not
and they have been there tapping those milk and honey that we have been at our backyard. And sometimes when we discuss this, it comes to the issue of leadership. And I'm beginning to link the analysis we are doing here today as some of the factors that affect leadership within this sub-Saharan, this land of milk and honey. Because if you don't have the leadership to coordinate the harnessing of these resources, it becomes a problem. So how do you link this to modern leadership?
Okay, now I'll paint you a picture of a tree. The tree will grow upwards and grow downwards. The downwards growth is the roots. It starts growth from the root. Once it makes a growth, a foundation on the root, then it can sprout and begin to grow. The more it grows up, it grows down. Now, if there is an impediment around the growth, you see that the tree will just grow in one kwashiorkor-ish way. No matter what you put as the fertilizer to enhance it. That's the issue that I am interested in. These problems can continue forever. Let me say it in a louder voice. The problem that Africa has may continue forever.
Oh, that's dangerous.
The problem may stop in no time. It depends on what action we take.
Action is important.
Very important.
Now,
that's one solution.
In the first place, we have to correct our roots. I told you, as I grew up, how I started to pick up food substances, particles from the ground and putting it in my mouth. In the last episode, I told you how my father died. After the burial, I'll go back in the dream. My soul will travel while I'm on my bed in Lagos, back to the village, use my hands to dig up my father from the grave, clean him up. I'll say, okay, you have been sleeping on this side. Okay, come and lie down on this side.
You're doing repositioning for your father. That was nice.
Interesting
indeed. Yeah.
When I wake up, feverish condition, BP is high, I can hear myself breathing. I rush to the hospital. The doctor said, Madam, your BP is okay. Everything is fine. Your temperature is normal. Say, this temperature that is hot, so it didn't happen just once, not just twice, not just thrice.
Wow.
That's the connection that your foundation has with you. Unless we repair this table, this jaga table that is wobbling,
that is standing on one leg.
Is it even standing?
You want to put load on top of it, it cannot stand.
Is it even standing? And this, what you just said, takes me to, if we are talking about going back to our roots and trying to correct certain things, and in 2026, the audacity for certain people within Africa to still tell the other people, leave my house, go away. When we were children, if they have families that used to have television then, people who didn't have will come to the window, come to the window and open and be watching. Some of the mean children or the bullies, like we used to see them, then we say, come out for our house. Come out for our house in the place where I grew up in the northern part of Nigeria was a normal thing for people who were bullies or people whose parents were, come out for our house. You say, and if people can still do that in 2026, how then do we unite ever to do this same building now?
Nigeria is the giant of Africa. No be for mouth. Talk about human resources. We are giants. Talk about intelligence. We are giants. Talk about beauty. If you as a woman see some Nigerian women, you will be lost in your thought. Wow, how can a woman be this beautiful? You as a woman, if you see some of our handsome men, you will be lost too. We have everything it takes. Forget about people that are going about saying Nigerians are loud. No, it's because
I think it's just our uniqueness.
We give them that challenge that they cannot figure out. We have confidence. Nigerian go enter where people do, whatever they are called, go express himself there.
No, a lot of world leaders have said
it's
a lot of world leaders. Yeah. There's this guy from South Africa, EFF, what's that his name?
Julius
Malema. There was a video of him that I watched. He said, if you want to know a true African or somebody people that would liberate Africa, if it will ever happen, it would be Nigerians.
Now,
are bold enough.
Where I'm indulging Nigerians and the Nigerian cultural practices that once we get it right, that's freedom.
Yeah. Patrice Lumumba also said it. Any day Nigeria stands up.
Now, the challenge and the big question I have for the African church leaders, you've taught us, you've engaged us.
We collected our money.
On how to... Money is nothing.
It's a lot of things for Africa that is poor.
Yeah, no. It will come to place once everything is corrected.
Well,
you've taught us how to respect our elders, how to pray for our leaders, how not to question them, how to graciously follow them.
Respect them.
Honor them. When are you going to tell our leaders how to reciprocate? When are you going to teach us how to hold them to accountability?
Or to even demand that respect?
When will you form a crusade? I think I need to make it louder.
Please do.
I have watched in last year, sometimes past, when the Nigerian people were agitating for a protest around the National Assembly. A pastor carried thousands of people in the same arena and was doing crusade, And
definitely there will be more people in that crusade than the people who are protesting to get Nigeria to work.
When will you stop this false prayer you engage people in? God is not so difficult. If you look at the story of the unjust judge, he was not trying to paint the picture of God. He was trying to paint the opposite picture of God. You understand? That God is not like the unjust judge. So, when will our pastors, as spiritual leaders begin to indulge us in crusades that will make us ask our leaders to do better for us, especially in the face of this terrorism and insecurity. All of them has become silent and accomplices in their silence. Have you seen any of them speak anything?
Well, to be fair to them, there are a few that are coming out, but there's a trend I see.
Okay.
With the few that have been speaking. Okay. They might not come out to maybe call name and probably abuse somebody, but what I notice is those unique or those people that have been speaking, and now this is my own belief while I was analyzing the few that have spoken, they either do not have their head office, as the case may be, or their bigger church in Lagos. In Lagos, please permit me to say that. Remember, before this current government came
to
power,
those were not the 5-star ones.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I know that the leader was
talking about the 5-star ones.
See, I just want to play the devil's advocate again. Like I said, there are few that have been trying to talk.
Of course.
But what I noticed is that those that benefited from this particular government, either now or in the past, have tried everything possible to make sure that the discussion does not go that way.
Yes.
Or even those that speak, they will be so diplomatic that you begin to wonder. I thought the Spirit of God gives you power to speak truth to power when you have to. I thought the Spirit of God would, and this is me being very objective and fair to both the ones that are speaking and even the ones that are not speaking. You're absolutely correct. There is a link. If, for instance, a particular pastor said they bought a land that is as big as a whole community, and they bought it some years ago for 5,000 or 6,000. And today, of course, we're talking about a property that is running into trillions. Who made that property possible? Does it have anything to do with the current government in power? And those of us that have lived up to 40s and above, you will remember that there was a time that protest was the easiest thing. And this is referring to during Jonathan's time when it was easy to protest. If protest gets to Lagos, those days, if anything happened in Lagos, the most recent is NSAS. He started from Lagos and he went fire, like wildfire. Today, it is almost impossible to hold protest for 1 week straight. Okay. And somebody said, sorry before you go in, and somebody said, the protesters are now in power. So who will protest?
The protesters are now in power.
The Nadeko protesters.
I don't know.
And when you talk about pastors and trying to relate it to, having head office in Lagos, I know one pastor in Nigeria that would always
Odumeje.
Yeah.
No, those ones are just like she said, those ones are not 5-star. I stand corrected. I see him like a comedian.
Because the 5-star pastors see him as comedian.
Yeah.
But the power he's manufacturing now, when he releases that power.
All the ones that have been
atomic bomb.
The Abido Shaker it was like a testing machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which one is he releasing this time around?
Wait for it. Wait for the major. So now, even when we look at the position of the so-called men of God, we also sometimes we try to ascribe blames to the leaders, the religious leaders and political leaders, but we try to exonerate ourselves, the citizens, the followers.
Oh, no. Now,
okay. I want to listen to
a tree, goat, not a born dog.
Okay.
A tree will be after its kind. It's not difficult to control the citizen. If you put a lot, did you not see here?
You are absolutely correct. I was in Lagos in the days of Fashola.
One time that you put a piece of paper there, you have been arrested. He goes to the market with his soldiers and so he has sardine, so amount. this one should sell for 1 pence, and that was how it went.
That might be extreme anyway, but go ahead.
It could, because that's a military junta, you know. So we just have to get it right.
So what you're saying is that everything rests on
the leadership, because they have sponsored hunger, they have sponsored poverty. People are now dancing for them if they give them 5,000.
They weaponized poverty.
They weaponize it. Now, you know why I'm really concerned about the spiritual leaders? I know there is a hijack on this hierarchy. If they, according to them, say it is a Bible leadership that they are trying to portray. Now, my question to them will be, what will Elijah have done today? Will Elijah have done anything differently from what they are doing? Will Elijah have sat down and the Fulani jihadists will come and be buying people in Nigeria for this long? Will Peter have allowed that to happen? Will Apostle Paul have kept quiet? The person that brought out cutlass, Peter,
fully armed,
that brought out cutlass from the...
I watched a joke where somebody said...
What will have David done? What will Solomon have done? So that's why, for me, I think we have to make a review. And I really, really, really recommend boycott. If people can go back to their dressing room and look in their mirrors again and see how big our heads have become, then we now know that we don't need extra attachment again. Let us just go bald. If we see the kind of shoe we are wearing and how big it is, we will know that we are wearing oversized. Let's just walk on barefoot.
Very important.
Boycotts.
Boycotts. Let everybody account for his own life. You know why I'm saying this? In all the times that I was very ill, I told you last time that I bled for 6 months.
Yeah, you said that.
I went everywhere. I didn't get a solution. And that was what opened my inner intuitive eyes to what I'm doing today. Because it was a point where I was already seeing my grave. I was already smelling. Everybody had already pushed me aside. You know.
It's serious.
And then I had seen my 2 cousins died of the same incident. But so these pastors that say they can command heaven and earth, that will tell you not to go and use herbs, cannot heal me. They cannot command this. You know why? Because they have reviewed the Bible and given us whatever. They have tried to even teach Jesus his own gospel. Because the founder of the gospel did all of this sacramental work. But you come on board and say it is wrong. People cannot do it. People cannot use herbs. But paracetamol is made from herbs.
The Chinese has flooded the market with something called ginseng. It is herb. Almost everything today is herb. The land filled with milk and honey. Everybody is competing. Even if we don't take anything from today's podcast, what I'll tell our people is let's begin to channel our minds, Africans especially, and even the whole world. They can help us achieve this and everybody will enjoy the land filled with milk and honey. Is that maybe, just maybe, Africa is the country or the land filled with milk and honey that the Bible referred to. And if today we haven't even tapped 10% of what is available, I'd use Nigeria as an example. 774 local governments, all having mineral resources. I know today it's only federal government that controls it. And the only thing that we rely on, as far as Nigeria is concerned today, that everybody gets from is oil. And what is the oil? the oil has also been hijacked. So I think at this point, as we wind down, which I'll leave for you to do, let this be a food for thought. Let our followers tell us what they think about this. It could look like a conspiracy theory, but all of those dots are connecting, in my own opinion. Thank you.
I have something to engage the whole world with. I want to say to the global world, don't keep looking on. Look at the extent of poverty in Africa. Stop living in denial. The resources that we have in Africa, or maybe in Nigeria alone, can feed the whole world without sending Africa into hunger. What account do you have to say that Africa is poor when all of your military bases are there? We do not have no military bases anywhere in the world, in the civilized world. But most of the civilized world, the ones on top, have military bases in our continent and in our country. You do not need to keep us in abject poverty. You do not need to continually sponsor insurgents, terrorism. It doesn't make you a global world. When you are the one that sponsors insurgents, the weapons that you produce is massively handed over to destroyers in Africa. What is civilized about that? What is civilized about the fact that Nigerian African children are dying of hunger? There's no civilization about that. What is civilization about? You going to discover the moon when you have not discovered the earth. When children in Africa are still walking about naked, they are hungry. They are dying of one sickness or the other. What is there? What is in this, all of this for you? The resources we have in Africa alone can feed the whole world. However, other parts of the world still have resources. And the question I want to leave with the global world is, why is it that everywhere you have resources never have peace? Congo does not have peace. Ukraine, no peace. Nigeria does not have peace. Sahel is facing tug of war every day. Sudan has been finished.
Just say the entire Africa.
Yes.
Nowhere that you find peace.
What is in all of this for you? What is in this global agenda? How does it fit the civilization that you push? How does hunger fit into civilization that you claim to chaperone? You are the boss of civilization, but you watch hunger. You watch as the gun that you produce destroy Africa.
Unalive people every day.
On a daily basis. You have no comments. You come on air to brag about how you are going to deal with everything, but you do nothing. All of these insurgents can be traced back to you if we look carefully. So that is how I'm going to challenge the whole world. Why don't you live and let live? Why don't you allow peace to reign in Africa? Now, to all of my patriotic citizens around the world, it's okay to say, migrants shall go, migrants shall go. Why don't you stop living in denial? If you take accountability, you will see that those migrants in the first place will not have come if so and so is not happening in their country. If there's no meddling, if there is no puppet that has been installed in those countries, those migrants will not even come to you in the first place. So if you are looking for patriotic peace, let us look beyond denial. Thank you.
Patriotic and sustainable peace.
So we have to live beyond denial. And because there is this term conspiracy theory it has always,
it
come
pops
up
up,
in our discussion today. And, there is something I was watching one day, somebody was saying. I remember sometime last year or early this year, the president of the United States of America made a statement of concern about how Christians were treated in Nigeria. Christians were
being unalived.
Yeah, they were being eliminated and all this and all that.
Christian genocide.
Yeah, Christian genocide.
Was a big word.
Yeah, was the word. And Nigerians were even all over social media
excited about
asking,
it, hoping,
which is America?
Which day are you coming?
Yeah, when is America coming to rescue Nigeria? Yeah. When is America coming to rescue Nigeria?
It's never going to come.
And at the end of the day, the government of Nigeria went to have a meeting with the American government, and the Americans actually sending the military into Nigeria.
Did you see them?
Well,
that's what we're told.
In the news, it was there that the American military are now.
Did you see them?
Till now, they say they are still around.
Are you reading Punch?
Oh we believe that they believe out there.
Yeah, because that is where the issue of conspiracy theory
comes in. The only thing we will require the West to do is to stop bringing weapons to Africa. Stop supplying.
But that's somebody's business you want to stop too.
What kind of business is that?
Business that costs human life.
Stop supplying weapons to Africans.
Yeah.
Stop selling to them. If you sell to them, you promote insecurity.
So Africans don't need weapons.
Civilization is not about weapons. Who wakes up in the morning to produce weapons of mass destruction and calls himself a civilized person? What do you want to use it for? To buy a human being that you didn't produce? You cannot claim that you are civilized when all you do is to produce weapons of mass destruction. There's no civilization in you. There's no humanity in you. You are just trading. You are doing business.
Yeah.
So you can do any business aside weaponry in Africa.
Yeah.
Africa don't need weapons. Africa needs factories.
Stop supplying the weapons.
Yeah, Africa need factories. Africa need good schools.
People to get busy.
Did you watch what happened in Sahel in Burkina Faso when France was leaving? It was a shame. You see, all their
the military
the apparatus, equipment that they were using, they spoiled everything. Did you watch the video?
Oh, really?
I said,
they
wow.
Destroyed it
they destroyed everything. They couldn't leave. I said, wow, these people are so mean.
Which means it was about business.
A people that you sucked for several years.
Unending.
Oh, come on. Even we human beings, ordinary people, know how to divorce our wives and give them something to live with.
Mm-hmm.
They asked you to go, because of that, every weapon, equipment they were using for mining, for production, you destroyed all.
Wow. I didn't hear about this one, but that would be
Who
extreme.
does that? So
I think the message is clear. Give us factories in Africa.
Give us schools, factories.
Give us healthcare.
Make life easy for everyone, if possible.
I don't think
if that
do
comes,
we even need them to give us factories? We can do factories by ourselves.
But we haven't done any of it.
I was manufacturing before I studied chemistry.
Will you do that in an unsafe place?
I was manufacturing until they took the refinery out of Nigeria. So the byproduct I couldn't get anymore. So that was the end of that manufacturing.
Well, before we summarize, there is questions that came to us about and I would want you to touch on them quickly before we summarize, because some of our viewers, our subscribers have sought to get more understanding about this idea of holistic wellness.
Okay.
And they've asked, that you need to tell us more. How do we get holistic wellness? What do we need to do?
Where do we need to go to?
Where do we need to go to? I would want us to touch on this before we conclude.
Okay, because of time, In the bio, you may find the link to my website. Are you gonna?
Yeah, we'll
engage
put the link to your website.
Yeah.
So I am available to discuss, to advise people on what to do. Holistic healing is the healing of the body, the spirit, and the soul. So we are looking at a situation where the science, the medical practice science can be married into holistic healing, so that most of the problems that the medical science cannot find the cause to can be settled holistically. Because now, the picture I try to paint is that because of the things that my father involved in, I had a soul tie to the sun goddess, the sun god. I had a soul tie to the earth, to the god of agriculture. I had a soul tie to the mother earth god, because everybody say, mother earth goddess, mother earth. You see it online now. Everybody's talking about, hey, give back to the mother earth goddess. Wow. Why? Why do you give back to her? Who is she?
What has she done for you?
You are a god. You are a god. After God, it is you. Don't relegate your authority to beings.
Yeah, even the Bible says it. Ye are gods.
Now, because of that, I had a lot of challenges that I'm seeing up to now. Just one step out, finally. You understand? So, I would like to tell people that there is a balance, to a way to be free from that negative energy. There's a way to be free from the hold of the sun god on your life. There's a way to balance that energy. That's what we call it in the life of civilization. Everything is energy. In Africa, we'll have called it devil, demon,
spirit,
evil spirit. But we don't use those words anymore. So instead of saying evil spirit, bad influence, negative spirit, we just say energy. That evil energy or bad energy that comes to you at night, that have sex with you in the night, that feeds you in the night, that make you see yourself in the river, that make you see yourself moving about, that makes you eat in the dream, all kinds of it, that makes you to see masquerade is pursuing you, you are running around, or they are beating you, and all of that, that makes you to have setback, that make you to stay in one point. You cannot succeed for a long time.
Those ones that press you when you are sleeping.
Oh no, those ones that press you when you are asleep.
Our comedians catch you.
Oh my God, those spirits that comes to press you. There are ways, apart from prayer, that you can dissolve all of this energy. You can balance them up, and they will go away from you gradually. The Bible says the evil, wickedness shall fade away. So we'll balance it in a way that they will fade away gradually. They will leave you. They won't even know your address anymore, because you must have balanced your energy.
And it's not through loose.
Yeah. Prayer has methodology.
Okay.
Jesus healed 2 blind people in the dream. I mean, in the Bible.
Yeah, the Bible, yeah.
So one, he commanded sight for him. So the other one,
say, take this thing and put in your eyes, and that's it.
If you know where clay comes from, you will know what Jesus did in that time. For you to get clay, you need to dig the ground. And for you to do the New Yam Festival, you need to dig the ground and put something there. And that's, if you go to the court, you will see the scale. That's the god of Oduduwa. He's blind. You understand?
Oh.
So Jesus put the clay and the spit and said, go take your shower, your bath in the river of Siloam. And so on and so forth. But today, we have reviewed all of that. We try to take those things out of context. We have condemned them. If you tell somebody to go and bring even river water, he goes to tell his pastor. I went to a woman of God, she asked me to go and bring river water. They begin to cast and bind you right there in their church, in their ignorance. It's as bad as that. And whatever some of our pastors cannot do, they don't want anybody to do it. So they prefer you stay in your condition, keep sending you to doctors, than for you to visit somebody.
Yeah, you keep coming back for prayers as well.
You keep coming back and begin to. So that way they play God. So
the message here is that a lot of people that want to connect to this message of salvation, message of liberation, there is a solution. And you look out for this link on our page. You will give out the link, and you can reach out. And I think it's good. You do one-to-one
sessions along that.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. So the floor is there for you. You have the space to communicate, to link up with Niaomi here, and learn more about how health and spiritual problems are solved through natural means, holistically.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
So as we begin to round up, I don't know, what is the in just 30 seconds, concluding remarks before we round up?
From me?
Yes, please.
My African people, needless to keep pretending that we are sleeping. Let's wake up. Let's wake up from the slumber. Enough is enough.
Oh.
Let's begin to ask ourselves for accountability. Igbo people say, Agbachos or Agoma.
I agree to that one. And just to join her in that same spirit, let us believe, if there's anything, I said it before, that I'm taking away today, Africans, let's begin to see Africa as that land filled with milk and honey that the Bible talked about. And if everybody was walking towards coming to Africa to come and stay and to come and enjoy the milk and honey, and we, the owners of the milk and honey, are not ready to tap from it, that would be dangerous. Let us wake up and make Africa a better place.
Let us wake up and make Africa a better place. Africa, the land of milk and honey. And Africa is home for all. Nobody is asking you to go home. Nobody sees you as an immigrant. You are an individual, and that is what you are. And I know you want to say something before we
let's
conclude.
Put away the deities. Let's separate magic from our African traditional way of life. And we see that everything will go back to its proper place.
Even from our churches, let's take away magic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. All those things called miracle that are arranged. It's magic.
Well, you've heard from the horse's mouth, and that is what we do here. Glasscast podcast. We bring out the stories, we bring out the subjects, we bring out the issues, and we allow you to digest based on what you have learned on every episode that we present. And most importantly, this is a platform for you to tell your stories. If you have such story to tell, personal stories that will benefit generations of people in Africa, in the world, all over, come here and you have the platform. We are happy and able to engage. And before we go, no matter what happens, we're here. Glasscast podcast. Your podcast, my podcast,
our
podcast.
Oh, that's it.
We'll see you in the next
episode.
Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, bye.